Alright, Thermo King Installation Manual SP230R and SP330R single temperature system, domestic refrigerator containers, trailer on flat car, and rail box car applications. 41. Installing the fuel tank of a 50-gallon, 22-inch diameter aluminum. Important fuel tank open style tank mounting bracket. Important fuel tank installation information effective the first quarter of 2011. All 50-gallon, 22-inch diameter aluminum fuel tanks will be equipped with the mounting flange for the ultrasonic fuel level sensor option. Danger immediately. Improperly installed fuel tank could lead to the serious injury and death. Consult with the trailer manufacturer for the specific details. Proper fuel intake installation recommendation. Cost of the trailer cost members must strong enough to safely support the combined weight of the mounting of the hardware of the fuel tank of the fuel. Fuel tank capacity 50-gallon diesel. Combined total weight is at 214 kilograms or 471 pounds. Option of the system tank mounting bracket. The new fuel tank kits were released November 1st, 2008. Factory of 701635. Aftermarket kit 9398. Caution new open style fuel tank mounting bracket. The new mounting bracket can be used to install either the 30 to 50 gallon 22-inch diameter fuel tank. The typical trailer installed with the cross member spacing 6 inches, 8 inches, 10 inches, 12 inches. The trailer and non-standard cross members of the 9 inches, 12, and 15 inches, 16 inches will require the additional components of the kit 701658 or 90 to 399 to complete the installation. The new kits cannot be installed with the 75, 90, or 110, 120 gallon 22-inch diameter fuel tank. The tanks will require kit number 710278 or 90 through 121. Do not substitute any components from the kits 701635, 9398, and 71658, 9399, where previously supplied, but the fuel tank mounting kits are interchangeable. Alright, kit number 701635, 90 through 398, and 7011658 or 90 through 399 are specifically designed to install a 30 or 50 gallon fuel tank hanging in position under the trailer attached with the fuel or cross members. Substitution are not acceptable. Alright, A, the fuel tank position. Thermo King recommends the fuel tank with a 203.2 millimeters or 8 inches under the trailer as shown otherwise by the OEM or install responsible for the ensure fuel tank position exceed the DOT and federal highway regulations where applicable. B, the tank strap position. 50-gallon tank. The fuel tank straps must be maintained position at 673 millimeters or 26.5 inches apart as shown. 6. C. Rubber strips and paddles. Rubber strips may be properly installed with both the mounting bands, and the rubber bands may be installed with the underside of the hanger assembly to prevent metal and aluminum contact. D. The mounting hardware. Grade 5 mounting hardware is supplied by the substitution not acceptable. Mounting hardware may be properly installed in torques and specified specifications listed. Hardware size 3/8 inch 16 by grade 5, 42 and 31 foot pound, 1.5, 12, 13 grade 5, 81 60 to 65 foot pounds, 1.5 T bolts are at 35 foot pounds. Alright, your open style mounting tank bracket. The standard cross member spacing of the cross members reference the TK54238 IM non-standard cross member spacing 9 inches, 15 inches, 16 also requires a kit 7016580 9399. Alright, this shows the 8 inch is the 10 inches, 6 inches, 12 inches front, and B, D, and C. On the other side, you see the A, the B, and the C. The tank can be mounted on either side of the trailer. There's a 4-inch gap in the middle of the tank side straps are 26.5 inches. These mounted on top of the location of the mounting holes, changing the trailer operations from 6.4.5 inches from the outside of the tank to the flange at 25 to 3 inches to the outside of the tank. Alright, open style mounting tank mounting bracket. Fuel tank installation. No location of the mounting holes may change, and either of the options are added. Locate the existing 10.3 millimeters or 4.06 and 20 inch of the diameter pre-punch hole for the cross member. See the note above. Line the two holes each with the hanger bracket with the holes in the cross member. Secure the two 3/8 inch 16-inch screws, washer, locking and torque nut hanger, hardware to 31 foot pounds. Install each of the hanger assembly facing each of the others shown on the hanger brackets, it's 1/2 inch, 13-inch screws, washer, lock nuts, torque hardware, 60 to 65 foot-pounds. Install self-adhesive rubber pad with the underside of each of the hanger assembly. Loosely install the tank strap, T-bolts on the other assembly with a 1/2 inch washer, lock nuts. Verify the rubber straps to be properly installed with the mounting pads. Install the fuel tank into the straps with the tank positioned vertically with the plus or minus 5 degrees. Tighten the tank straps to 35 foot-pounds. Alright, your open style tank mounting, you have the oriental tank vertical plus or minus 5th degree. Your open style bracket, your node location mounting hole change from the other trailer ports is added. The flange of the front of the fuel tank 3 and slide. Alright, your fuel, installing the fuel lines, domestic refrigeration container and rail by the box container only. Fuel line installation danger. Leaking fuel lines could cause a fire, resulting in death and serious injury. Fuel line fittings might be tight, leak-free, but do not require roof route. Fuel lines with battery cables, electric wires, as they could cause the fire. 1. Uncoil the fuel supply and return lines at the rear of the unit. Important, the fuel lines must remain routed with provided with the insulated clamp as shown, then down into the tank. Route the 3/8 inch fuel supply line in the fuel tank fitting. The supply line installed with the tank must be no higher than 1 inch from the bottom of the tank, determining the length of the cut of the supply line. Cut the end of the supply line 45-degree angle. Slide the fuel line fittings. Insert the supply line in the fuel pickup fitting into its 25.4 millimeter or 1 inch from the bottom of the tank. The tightening of the fuel line fitting securely. 3. Route the 1/4 inch fuel return in line of the fuel tank. Check the return line with the appropriate length of the slide of the fuel line fittings. Install the outline onto the fuel line return fitting and tighten the fuel line fitting securely. Remove the plastic cap with the fuel vent pointing the outlet of the rear of the container. Add a sufficient amount of the fuel 1/4 inch of the tank to allow the unit of the 8 inch, 12 inch during the engine brake and the pre-delivery procedures. Alright, installing the fuel lines, the domestic refrigerator container and rail box container. Important fuel lines remain routed through the provided with the insulated clamp as shown for that the unit they then down to the fuel tank. 2 and 3. Alright, installing the fuel lines on the trailer on a flat car only. Fuel line installation danger. Leaking fuel lines could cause the fire, resulting in the death and serious injury of fuel line fittings. Must be tight and leak-free. The damage no route with the fuel lines, battery cables, electrical wires, as they could cause a fire. Installing the fuel line bracket with the pre-drilled holes in the frame. This oil is located with the frame under the compressor. Detail 1. Important, the vary factor installed with the fuel line fittings are tightly and proper to the mounting bracket on the frame. Fuel line should be routed with the protective housing with no kinks and sharp bends. Detail 2. Rubber grommets may be used for the routing of the fuel line through holes in the detail and metal in detail 2. Secure all the fuel lines provided with the detail 3. The remote fuel lines of the unit, the fuel line pump, the fuel pickup, and the fuel tank. Install the fuel line connectors provided with the insulation kit. Cut in of the fuel line at 45-degree angle. Insert the fuel pickup tube. Units at 1 inch from the bottom of the tank and tighten securely at the detail 4. Route the fuel return line with the unit of the tank for returning fitting of the attached fuel line connectors and tightly secure. Remove the plastic cap from the fuel vent. Point out outlet of the rear of the trailer. Add sufficient amount of fuel to 1/4 of the tank to allow the unit to run for 8 to 12 hours during the engine braking and pre-delivery procedures. Alright, this is the installing your fuel lines on trailer on flat car. You have 1, your installation, verifying the factor that the fuel lines installing and properly mounting with the bracket and the frame. 2, your detail 2 to 3, 4, and 3 and 4 on the fuel tank underneath the refrigeration unit. Alright, installing the fuel level sensor harness and domestic refrigeration container, car only. Float style fuel level sensor. Alright, wire running connection danger. Do not route the electrical wire with the fuel lines caught with the cause of fire. Note that the fuel level sensor harness 3-pin connector is located with the outside of the control foot box of the cable contained with the harness for the rear of the unit with the frame mounted with the ground plate behind the battery tray. 1. Locate the short factory installed fuel level sensor harness within the 3-pin connector. See the note above. Apply the light coating with a super lube with equivalent to this connector. Connect the 6-foot fuel line sensor harness to the mating of the 3-pin connector of the factory installed harness. Route the harness into the fuel tank. Important, the use of the supplied crimp of the solder type. Solder style continues separate heat shrinking tubing is required with the connecting the fuel level sensors harness from wires. After at the fuel tank, at the tank of the cut the harness the length of the connecting the harness wire with the fuel level sensor wire. The wires are now polarity sensitive by sliding supplied with the heat shrinking tubing on each of the wire, with positioning them away from the joint. Striping the wire ends, inserting the end of the wire connections, and crimply secure with the soldering the wires to the wire connectors, the soldering gun, sliding the heat shrinking tube over the wire connectors, and applying the heating to the heat gun. Use the supplied cable ties and clamps to secure the screws to the harness as shown. Important. This is the float style and fuel sensor level. The SR3 controller must be programmed accordingly with the program of the SR3 controller page 72 enable the fuel level feature. Alright, these are the lines. The fuel level covers the heat sinction cup going over the fuel level sensor and its connection. Alright, installing the ultrasonic fuel level sensor harness optional in the trailer on flat car only. Solid state ultrasonic fuel level sensor harness installation and routing. To be noted, the ultrasonic fuel level sensor is an option of the 22-inch 50-gallon fuel tanks. Only requires the internal connecting harness kit 702414 damage. Danger: do not route the electrical wires for the fuel lines. This could result in a fire. Locate the short factory installed with the fuel level sensing harness within the 3-pin connector. The connector is located outside of the control box. The band with the wrap of the harness at the rear of the unit near the frame of the mounted ground plate. Apply the lighting coating with the super lube with the equivalent of the same connector to connect the 30-foot interconnecting harness to the mating with the 3-pin connector with the factory installed harness. Route the harness with the fuel tank with the training of the trailer's harness continuity with the chase to avoid the interface with the fifth wheel plate area. Thermo King recommends the continuity chase with 1 inch of the ID to accommodate the electrical harness. Alright, harness connectors. Important. The use of the supplied crimp and the solder type of the connectors. A separate height shrinking tube is required for connecting the sensor harness for the ultrasonic fuel level sensor. Cut the interconnecting between the light splice wires and fuel sensor leads. JP3 connectors controller types Beach, pin 12, 2PL, pin 235 fuel N and P235LN. Pin 212 is 2PL, pin A on the and green for the interconnecting Hauser control box and red for the fuel sensor leads. Pin 35 is a fuel LN with the interconnecting harness outside control box. The pin P and is black with the fuel sensor leads are red black. Pin 23 is a FLL J3 connector controller with a pin C and the interconnecting harness outside control box white and fuel sensor lead yellow. Slide away the supplied heat shrink, rubbing each with the wire with position away from the joint. Connect each with the wire connecting crimp securely. Solder the wires to the wire connectors in the soldering gun. Slide the heat shrinking tube over each with the wire connecting and apply heating within the heat gun. Important, do not burn the heat shrink. If the heat shrink is burnt in the charge with the bubbles for overheating, the wire connections must be removed and redone correctly. Use the supply cable ties and clamps secure the harness. Important, these solid state fuel level sensors in the SR3 controller must be programmed accordingly with the program of the SR3 controller on page 72. Enable the fuel level feature. Or your ultrasonic fuel level sensor show the connection of the hookup of the 4 and 2 and the soldering of the heat shrinking tube and the crimp solder solder types and connecting harnesses. Installing a status light optional. Installation. Surface mounted with the status light installation showing with the flush mounted lights installed within the recess openings. Flush mounted with the status light opening dimension option page 21. Electrical connections are made unshown. Mounting the status light in location so that it's visible with the tractor mirror of the driver. Mark of the drill with the 4 mounting holes with the 30/16 of an inch drill. Mounting the status light with the position with the solid supplied ribbon throughout. Root harness is shown, allowing the drip pool loop with preventing the water from integrating with the status light. Secure the harness of the bracket trailer using the supplied clamp and the rivets for the connecting the status light and harness the trailer with the display of the connecting harness for the matching of the 6-pin connector located outside behind the battery tray with the left of the control box. Secure any excessive harness with the tie band for the main harnesses behind the battery tray. Fuel combo, triple combo displays route with the harness for the harness garment into the control box. Connect the 4-pin connector with the remote light with the pointer with the circuit board. Connect the 8-pin connector to the CAN 1 J12 with the position with the occupied CAN 2 J13 and CAN 13 J14. Nor if all the CAN ports are occupied with a CAN extender harness available with the Thermo King dealer, be sure the connectors are locked securely into place on the circuit board. Secure an excessive harness with the tie bands and main harness behind the battery tray. Important, do not use secure excessive harnesses to the battery cable or refrigerator lines. Installing your status light optional, the circuit board, 8-pin forward and in pin, and your connectors. Alright, installing the remote controller. Foamed in place installation. Verifying the mounting location mentioned before. All the dimensions remote. The A is 2.75 inches. B is 7.75 inches. Danger route electrical harness together with the fuel lines also could cause the fire, resulting in death and injury. Serious injury. Caution to do the drills and hold the refrigeration, electrical, mechanical components with the severe damage to the equipment will result. Preferred wiring route, step 1.2 and 610, with the note the preferred routing electrical harness shape with the interfacing the harness with the bottom of the control box. The connection harness showed at the bottom of the control while providing with the drip loop. Installing with route 1.5 inch CPVC drain hose with the bottom of the controller box on the trailer floor. Alternate wiring routing, step 3 to 10. Now, the alternate routing of the electrical harness shape and the interface harnesses from the side of the controller box. Drill appropriate side of the controller box with the harness shape with the coupling. Installing the harness shape with the coupling, and the coupling should not protrude more than 6.4 millimeters or a quarter of an inch inside of the control box. Install the cap at the bottom of the cap on the bottom of the control box before foaming the trailer wall. Apply chalk and control box, installing securely with the trailer wall. Harness connectors. Apply a super lube with the equivalent remote control harness with the connectors attaching securely to the box of the controller. Route the harness through the chase secure the control with the control box with the screws. Route the chase and the remote control harness from the control or to the host unit. Secure the clamps. Note 9. Cut off the excess harness and strip wire ends with attached remote control harness wires and splice connectors with the interface harness. Alright, this reads pin 1 through 8 down the side, and then their code to the left, and then to the next right. Code interface with the 8-pin connector splice and code. And alright, pin 1 is the blue, and it's pin 3 in blue. Pin 2 is green with the pin 5 in GR. Pin 3 is no connection with the pin 7 and pin no connection code. Pin 4 is the ORN. With pin 6 on the orange. Pin 5 is yellow with the pin 4 yellow. Pin 6 is brown with the pin 8 brown. Pin 7 is black with the pin 1 black. Pin 8 is red with the pin 2 red. 10. Apply super lube equivalent securely connect the interface with the harness 8-pin connector with the mating of the 8-pin remote control located on the side of the evaporator housing. Alright, this shows the installing the remote control option, shows the light on the fittings and the wires, and the remote control light on the side of the thing. No, verifying location all dimensions before installing the danger. Do not route the electrical harness together with the line, but it could cause the result in death and serious injury. Caution: do not drill holes, refrigeration, electrical, mechanical components. Severe damage to the equipment will result. Caution: remote rubber grommets must be used with the routing of the electrical harness through the metal holes. 1. Cut the open trailer per wall per dimensions. A, 8 inches. B, 4.25 inches. C, 1.5 by 5 inches. Installing the route of 1/2 inch CPVC drain hose. There is 0.8 inch OD harness shaved at the bottom of the control box of the trailer. Apply the caulking with the control box. Install the securely trailer wall. Note: make sure the drain hose and the harness chase are connected properly. Harness connections. Apply a super lube or equivalent remote control harness with the container with the attached securely back of the controller. Route harness through the chafe with the controller with the control box will screw. Route the harness under the trailer with the cause of the floor of the I-beam cross members toward the unit. 6. From the inside of the trailer member of the drill the appropriate size hole for the route of the harness for the trailer towards the unit. Secure the harness with the back side of the unit with the clamps. Measure the length of the harness square with the harness connecting the 8-pin remote controller connector located on the side of the evaporator hose. Evaporator housing. Cut off the excess harness strip wire ends with the crimping the existing splice and the heat shrinking the cover. Our remote control harnesses with flat 8-pin connectors will be read first, and then the code, and then the interface with the pin 8 connectors splice ends in their code. Pin 1 is the blue with the pin 3 blue. Pin 2 is the green with the pin 5 green. Pin 3 is no connection. Pin 7 no connection. Pin 4 orange with a pin 6 orange. Pin 5 is yellow with a pin 4 yellow. Pin 6 is brown with a pin 8 brown. Pin 7 is black with a pin 1 black. Pin 8 is red with a pin 2 red. Apply super lube equivalent securely to contact the interface for the 8-pin connected with the mating of the 8-pin remote controller on the side of the evaporating housing. Once again, you're installing the remote controller option. Alright, you're installing the door switch. When installing the Cargo Link wireless door switch, the CTK 55151 Cargo Linking Installation Manual. The instruction page 58 through 61 and 10 with the reference guide for the typical hardware door switch installation. Your installation may be different depending on the trailer amount, the type of the door's customer particular requirements. Door switch component. The door switch consists of the magnet switch with non-magnetic routing of the hardware interface for the harness for connecting the host net unit. The magnet always mounted within the door of the switch. The harness is always mounted with the stationary location. Two short interface for the harnesses are available depending on the particular carrier kit that allows the signal door with the singular zone with the active until shut down. The other all allows the two door switches in the same zone that each of the activate until activated unit shutdown. Non-magnetic mounting hardware is included in installing the switches. If the alternating hardware is used to mess it, be it non-magnetic with the door switch will not operate properly. Installer the supply with the fabricated with the harness. Connecting the interface harness with the door switch per table below. The harness should be 18 American wire gauge or better than 3 wires, color-coded red, black, and white. Interface harness, red 12 volt DC power, red volt 12 door switch, red volt 12 DC power. Black CH ground and white DSO output. That's for both interfacing harness and door switching wire. Mounting location of the door switch on the mounting of the inside, outside, either the swing of the out of the roll-up doors, the mounting with the various portions, positions accommodated with particular applications. Important installation note: the door switch must be installed away from the traffic. The forklifts are protected from it. Door switch of the magnet must be installed with the parallel to each of the other, not particularly long crosshair lines with a long crosshair. It's important a maximum gap of 0.5 inches may be maintained between the door switch magnet and the swing. Shims as required must not be magnetic material, aluminum, wood, plastic, etc. Other magnet of the door switch will not operate properly. Detail A, ceiling mounted. The magnetic flush with the top edge of the door secured with the supplied hardware. Close the doors mounting with the switch of the door parallel with the magnet, being sure that the crosshairs are aligned with the maximum gap of the half inch is maintained. Alright, detail B with the floor mount with the magnet flush with the bottom edge of the door secured with the supplied hardware. The cord door and the mounted switch of the floor parallel with the magnet should be sure the crosshairs of the line maximum of a half inch is maintained. Detail C, outside door insulation. Mounting the magnet flush with the top edge of the door, secure the supplied hardware, close the door, mounting the switch to the door side parallel with the magnet, and being sure that the crosshairs are aligned, that maximum of a half inch is maintained. Alright, this is your installing door switch, the red 12 volt DC power or black CH white DC output right angle mounting of a half inch max. 1, and this is 2 in Thermo King red volt 12 DC power black CH grounding white DS output half inch maximum. Inside top to top mounting and side by side mounting red 12 volt DC black CH grounding white DSH optional half inch mounting. Installing the door switch, contacting the Thermo King dealer for the specific parts for the number. Note that depending on the rail-ready module you have, the door switch harness with the 3-pin connector may be located in 2 places: on the side of the evaporator housing outside of the control cable tied to the harness of the rear of the unit frame, mounted with the ground plate behind the battery of the tray. Single door switch activation, single zone A. Detail A, apply super lube with equivalent secure contact with the interface harness with the door with the switch connector. See note above the root, the 3 wires on harnesses installer supplied for the interface harnesses, a single door switch connecting the matching of the wire of the table below, red, white, black to the door switch for the installation connectors, crimping the splice connectors securely and applying the heat with the heat gun. Red 12 volt DC power of the doors, interfacing harnessing and door switch wiring, white DS output with the white DS output and window safe harness wiring, and black CH ground. Harness should be installed with the routed properly secured to the protect from damage. Operate the unit verifying the damaged door to the switch operation. Multiple door switch activation single zone for detail B. Apply the super lube equivalent secure the connecting interface for the harness door switch connector C note above. Route the three wire harness with the installer supplied with the interface harness for each of the door switch. Maximum 2 doors connecting matching wires paired on the table below. Red, red, white, white, black, black to each of the door switch with the splice connector with the crimp. The splice can securely apply the heat of the heating gun. The red 12 volt DC power the harnessing and the door switch. White DS outputting, black C8 as grounding. All harness should be installed with the rotors properly secured and protected from damage to operate unit and verified door switch operation. Alright, installing the door switch, the single door switch, 12 volt DC, white DC output, CH ground, red to red, white to white, black to black. Alright, cargo watching central location option. Central location domestic application is required by a customer. Sensor 1 is located at the evaporator side of the returning operating near unit return of the air sensor factory installed. Sensor number 2 is required by a customer. Alright, sensor 1 and sensor 2. Connecting the cargo watch sensor option. Important, only the cargo watch sensor can be used, but depending on the railroading module, have the cargo sensor watch harness 12-pin connector may be located with the two placed on the S side of the evaporating housing. And outside of the control box, the cable tied with the harness at the rear of the unit with the frame mounted on the ground plate behind the battery tray. Connection sensor. Note the sensors are not polarity sensitive. Locate the short factory cargo sensor harness with the 12-pin connector. Unplug the plug connector with the harness. Remove the orange end from the connector. Remove only the plugs from the connector holes of the sensor that are connecting. Unused holes must remain plugged. Sensor 1 and 12. Sensor 2 and 11. Sensor 3 and 10. Sensor 4 and 9. Sensor 5 and 8. Sensor 6 and 7. Alright, insert the white pipe connector, the wiring connection until the select position. Detail 1, the wire slide over the connector is shown. Sensor 1 is the white 1. Sensor 2 is the white into number 2. Sensor 3 is white into number 3. Sensor 4 is white into number 4. Sensor 5 is white into number 5. And sensor 6 is white into number 6. When inserting the black connector wires and corrected with the connection of the location locked in position, the wire side of the connector is shown. 1 is the black and 12, 2 is the black and 11, 3 is the black and 10, 4 is the black and 9, 5 is the black and 8, and 6 is the black and 7. Reinstall the orange end 3 with the back end of the connector 2. Apply the light coating of the super lube, electrical connection, plug head, sensor backing the mating of the connector of the sensor harness 1. Connecting the cargo switch, cargo watcher sensor harness, the also sensor. I'm using the splice connectors, crimp of the splice connectors to secure. Apply heating of the heat gun. Notify the cargo switch sensor. Wires are not polarity sensitive. Secure the sensor with the appropriate clamps. Alright, connecting the cargo switch, cargo watch sensors option, sensor 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and 6 with the 12 different pin connection. Alright, installing a bulkhead option. Thermo King recommends using a bulkhead. Contact Thermo King dealer for the specific parts numbers. Installation caution. Do not drill holes in the refrigeration, electrical, mechanical components. Severe damage of the equipment will result. Find the mark of the front trailer wall support post with the top stick mount with the holes that should be aligned with the trailer wall position post. So, set the bulk over the trailer floor and fitting over the evaporator. Do not cut the top of the bulkhead. It is designed to fit all the wide posts until the evaporator is 65-inch wide evaporators. Use the two end with the self-drilling screws to attach the bulkhead of the trailer with the support of the post with the two top holes only. Cut the side flange to activate the bolts and head flanges. Use 8 screws with the finishing bolt mounting with the bulkhead for in the large of the block at the forward and the bottom flange. For the evaporator strip, remove the 2 screws holding the top portion of the bulkhead and fold it down. Alright, from your typical trailer wall support basis, remove the 2 screws from the top of the portion bulkhead, fold it down into the strip of the evaporator, attach the bulkheads with the top of the 2 mounting brackets, and for the mounting holes in the large pockets, and 4 mounting holes in the large bottom flanges. Alright, installing the battery. Important with the battery information, important safety precautions, battery installation, cable routing. On page 6, additional information. Warning: improperly installed battery could result in fire or explosion. The Thermo King approved the battery must be installed with the properly secured with the battery tray. Warning: improperly installed battery cables could result in the fire or explosion. Battery cables must be installed routed with securely properly provided with the rubbing of the chafing, the making the contact with the sharp of the rubbing content components. Note the Thermo King unit is designed with a 12-volt group of 31 battery. The battery must be suitable to deep cycling, heavy-duty rated with a minimum of 95 amperes per hour. Installation. 1. Install the battery into the tray. Install the battery. Hold down the brackets rods loosely. Install the hardware on the rods. Note one of the hold down rods must fit in the notch located within the channel under the battery. You may have to remove the electrical harness slightly or to attach the knot to access the notch. Line the tab of the battery holding down the bracket of the two existing holes of the frame support channel. Install the two mounting bracket bolts and the flat washer through the holding down of the bracket support channel torque hardware at 120 inches per pound. Tighten the two battery hold down at 20 inches per pound. Do not over tighten as may the crack or destroy the battery. Install the positive battery cable. The positive battery pores posed first to minimize accidental electrical shortening and the tightening of the battery bolt securely. Install the negative battery cable on the negative battery post. Second to the minimizing accidental electrical shock. Tighten the bolt securely. Alright, installing the battery, the battery connection terminals, the notch, and the brackets. Alright, installing the bottom of the top trailer of flat car and rail box car only. Installation: anti-seize lubrication applied with the threads of the stainless steel mounting hardware is recommended, but remove the 4 1/4 inch by 20 by 75 inch 0.75 screws, lock washer, flat washer attached with the front of the black and plan there will be reinstalled with the step 3 rear mounting plant. Position this bottom of the bottom pan under the flat. Under the unit, line the 4 holes of the rear of the bottom pan from the hole of the rear of the frame. From the unit, attach the rear of the bottom pan with the 4 1/2 inch 1/4 inch by 20 by 1 inch Torx head screws, a 1/4 inch lock washer, 1 inch diameter flat washers supplied with the installation screws. 3. Front mounting bolt. On the center of the curb's roadside of the access to the bottom of the pan mounting tabs. Front inside the unit, secure the bottom of the pan with the 4 1/4 inch by 20 by 0.75 inches screw, lock washer, flat washer removed in step 1. Torque all 8 bottom bolt pans, bolts to 30 inches per pound, and close secure all doors. Alright, installing the bottom trailer on floor, flat car or rail box car only. Alright, programming the SR3 controller. Note these procedures can also be done through OptiSet technical manual. Fuel lever or TM trademark. Fuel level sensor. Northern guarded access menu is not available. The engine running. Turn off the engine. Go to the guarded access menu. Scroll down and select the unit configuration. Scroll down and select the fuel level sensor. Choose the non-solid state or flow. The ultrasonic fuel level sensor style. Solid state. Pressing the key for the S key. Flow style. Scroll the float and pressing the key. Then select yes. Fuel level percent will now be in the gauge menu. The unit is now programmed and press the exit key. Remote satellite device, if applicable, enter the guard access menu, scroll down and select remove device, then choose the enable disable. Scroll to enable, then press the key, and then press yes key, then exit the key, and then the unit is now programmed to accept remote satellite communications. Alright, your unit checklist. Let me see. Alright, unit checklist. Visually inspect the unit for insisting handling damage for the file clamp of the delivery carrier. Install the unit with outline with Thermo King installation manual. If the unit is separate fuel tank, with add 10 gallons of fuel to the tank. Before starting the unit, check the battery and battery cable installations. Inspect the fuel line for checking the rubbing, shafting, laying of the hot surface visual. Inspect the unit for the following: loose and properly fitting of the brackets, hardware loose, hose connections, hose routing. Inspect all wire connections, routing. Check the defrost drain of the hose and kazoo. Check the unit mounting of the hardware for the tightness. Check the compressor engine mount. Check the compressor clutch with the quip. Install the refrigerator gauge manifold, multiple temps units only. Check the engine engine oil level. Check the considered evaporator oil section cleanliness sign of the refrigeration legs. Check the bulk and the air chute with the quip. Check the damper, the doors, bushing, and the springs. Multiple temp units for remote evaporators. Check the evaporator section for the cleanliness. Leak the intercoolant connecting tubing. Check for damage, loose balancing bolts, hardware on the remote evaporators. Check for the proper installation refrigeration drain hose, drain tubes, drain conduits, drain tube heater wires. Check with the proper route of the refrigerator lane warning harness of the remote evaporator. Check with the proper routed harness for the remote control. Check with the proper insulation remote with the evaporator guard with the clip. Check the remote harness with the wire plugs in the house evaporator. Check the wire connection terminals of the remote evaporator. Check the compartment bulkhead and properly fitted equipment. Start and run on multiple temperature units, starting only with the host unit. Check the proper oil pressure, coolant temperature, oil and fuel coolant links. Check the alternator charge to cool the unit. Ensure the unit's functions in correct modes. The modes indicator of working. So the continuous room thermostat at 32 degrees Fahrenheit or 0 degrees Celsius, running of the unit at 32 degrees Fahrenheit and 0 degrees Celsius. Alright, unit checklist continued. Observe the record refrigeration operating pressure for the relation ambient to temperature box temperature. Verify the readings above the correct condition. Verify the box at 32 degrees Fahrenheit, 0 degrees Celsius. Check calibration thermostat, thermometer, and data logger. Read the 30 minutes at 32 degrees Fahrenheit. Do not use during this period. Check the correct cycling. Reset the thermostat for 30 degrees Celsius, 10 degrees, 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 degrees Celsius. Check the throttle valving with the heat cycle. Check the operation modulation system of equipment. The single unit with the perform control to check for the refrigeration level. Multiple checks for the charge for the per multiple unit procedure. Multiple temp units installing the compartment bulkhead if equipped. Check the correct rotation of the remote evaporator fans. Check the correct cycling operating with the remote evaporator fans. All units initiate the check the defrost option and termination. Check the operation adjustment to damper the door of the remote fan. Each of the multiple temps must be checked with the proper operation. Set the unit cycle century operation. Check the proper operation of all the door switches. Remove the compartment bulkhead if equipped. Set the unit continuous running. Continue with the running of the unit with the back of the door open, alternating between high speeds and cooling and heating the units. These 6 hours are every 10 hours preferred as shown by the engine running time. The hours metered with ensure the complete braking of the engine time of the bolts and over the moving parts of the initial tension adjustment. Electrical standby operational checks. Test the AC electrical contacts connection and connecting the AC power and running. Check the correct electrical motor rotation. Check the thermostat. Check for the correct modes of the operation power source not available to test the AC. Stopping the unit on multiple temp unit testing interlocking tubing. Check the readjustable oil belt tension through the TK belt gauge 204427 or check the oil fuel temperature coolant refrigeration exhaust leak. Check oil and the coolant level. Check entire unit for loosened hardware and fittings. Check the adjustable all skins, doors, panels, and correct alignment and operations. Complete the commission registration process and release unit. This is better than Air Soul brand Thermo King installation manual of the SP230R and SP330R single temperature to inform the domestic railroad refrigerator cars, the trailer on flat car or rail box cars applications.